it worked. What Disney, what Star Wars wanted to do with this recent Kenobi series and what was her name? Moses Ingram, if I'm not mistaken. They tried to speak a narrative into existence. And they were only mildly successful because there are those of us that aren't stupid. And we called the game for what it was before because we saw the setup in place where you saw the articles that were telling basically Moses Ingram, the company told, I can't remember, I think she said that right in an interview. So before the Kenobi series said that, came out, that they were already saying that they were prepping Star Wars, the company, Lucasfilm, prepping her for racist comments that she was going to get. Why on earth would you be doing that for fucking Star Wars, right? You're not the first black person that's been in a Star Wars film or, in this case, a show, or been a part of the Star Wars universe. So why on earth would you be prepped for that? It's almost as if they knew that this was going to be such a subpar project and they needed a shield to hide behind. So that's exactly what happened. They spoke it into existence. And I would say this, in comparison to the comments that I get, and I'm not an actor or actress, not in the sense that she is, the comments that she shared on Instagram, I think it was on her stories, were mild, right? They were mild. I also think there's a little false flagging going on. For sure. I do think that that's a thing. Mainly that I would totally not put it above them for them to create these anonymous accounts themselves and then fucking make racist comments about themselves. Not to say she did it to herself, but it's just wild how both of the ones that she showed, two of them had weird misspellings there. That doesn't make a whole lot of sense. And then the ones you showed were pretty fucking tame for some of the things that I've said and racist things that I've heard, certainly coming from leftists. Last night or the night before that I'm recording this segment, Ewan McGregor. Ewan. Oh, Ewan. It's nice to be able to say Ewan again. Did a video that was shared by the Star Wars team, Twitter, which basically had him coming out talking about racism is bad. These guys get me. Racism is bad and y'all are harassing. I'm getting being contacted saying that she's being harassed, says Ewan McGregor. It's not going to work, bro. We've already seen this. Y'all need to get DLC, and you need to go ahead and get that shit implemented ASAP, because we've already seen this play out. Right now, also, you have Marvel, Star Trek actors and actresses who are coming out and, of course, taking her back because she got comments like this that says, your days are numbered. Again, just such a random thing to have said to you by some anonymous fucking dweeb that you showed. And that's, again, not only tamed, I don't for once fucking believe, and I can't just accept you guys' words, another misspelling here. This is what you're showing as a evidence that you are getting death threats and people are racist. If that's the best you can come up with, I don't know, man. I'm gonna need some more fucking receipts than that. Okay? These are rather tame. But of course, everybody that is within it is going to bat for her. Now, we know, and the folks of us that keep our pulse on this stuff and understand what's going on, knows that Lucasfilm is full of shit. And I'm not talking about with like how they had previous black characters or wouldn't put them on the poster because they didn't want to offend China. I know Disney's done that. I'm not even discussing that part of it. We already have evidence of them having someone that we saw get death threats, that it was completely unwarranted, and they did this to this woman, and she was not backed by the Star Wars Twitter account. She was not backed by her colleagues. What happened was they said fucking nothing for the most part. And you'll maybe get Burr who will say a little something 3 months after the fucking fact. Not really going to bat for her. They didn't do that. And her name was Gina Carano. And big shout out to Data Racer because he had to post a reminder of receipts of all the fucked up shit that people would say. Or these are non-Annan accounts. Some of them aren't, though, to be fair. About Gina Carano. Because she dared to not. This is what happened with Gina. I'm going to give you the facts. She was publicly not a leftist and she worked in Hollywood. That was her crime. For a very prominent franchise. That was her crime. And then you got Bad Take Jake herself, Grace Randolph, who posted something basically saying no race and gender are not valid criticisms. And under no circumstances should you harass any talent in front or behind the camera. And then my man's here said, yeah, I guess unless you're Gina Carano. And Grace Bad Take Jake basically said, well, it's okay to do it to her. Because why? She's claiming and still spreading false information that Gina Carano made anti-Semitic and anti-trans statements. That's a false statement, and she knows it. It's not true. That never fucking happened. And this is the point that I wanted to make. Now, I mean, I'm updating you guys on what's going on. But from a cultural perspective, this is something that you need to be paying attention to. I said this on Tuesday night's main event. The reason why these people use these loose terms that don't mean anything anymore, even though they know they can't pin you on that type of stuff, is because they want to paint you in a light of basically being the most negative people. You know why? So they themselves can feel justified with whatever it is that they're going to do to you. So she doesn't even say, she basically goes back on everything she says because she's like, well, that's different because Gina Carano made a statement that I didn't like, even though no, it was not anti-Semitic and no, it was not anti-trans. At no point did Gina Carano ever make a statement as such. She never made that. What a lot of people point to is that story or whatever that she shared and she was right. And she showed more than anything, definitely with the COVID stuff, how right she actually was. And that was that the state, much like they did during the Nazi Germany era, will pit. If you wonder why a human atrocity like that could happen, they had to pit the people against each other. And that's what they did. That's a factual statement. That's a historically accurate, factual statement. And to flip that and say that's anti-Semitic is bullshit, and they know it. Especially when you have someone that also worked on the same goddamn show that also compared people to the same era. Actually, half of the goddamn voting population. He made y'all akin to that. Pedro Pascal literally did that. She did that. He did that. He did that. He actually did that. So you can't even say that, well, that era is so off limits. You could never say something like that and compare anything that ever happened in Nazi. Well, Pedro Pascal did it. He did it to half the voting population and essentially called them fucking Nazis. What happened to him? Nothing. And this is why I always use the term act accordingly. Because you need to understand how these people act, particularly these spiteful leftists and how they act. They want your money and they expect your money, but they do not want you to be in on the fun, and they certainly don't want you to be a part of their projects. The minute they find out, I was looking at some idiot sharing some post that I guess some wrestler that he was attracted to that works, I think, for maybe WWE, has a story where she's listening to a pro, he said like a pro MAGA, something like that, pro MAGA rapper. And he's all emotionally distraught because of it. They don't want you in or around them in the event that you don't think like them. And it's not about being a Trump supporter. It's about not being a leftist. That's what you pay for. And this is why you should act accordingly. You do not owe these people the benefit of the doubt. They are using, speaking of wrestling, Eddie Guerrero tactics. Grace Randolph is using Eddie Guerrero tactics. She wants what happened to her, to Gina Carano, to be justified. So what is she doing? Lying, cheating, and stealing. That's essentially what she is doing. That's just how these guys operate. You cannot place, and you can't be surprised either, because you can't place your own set of morals and ethics onto your enemy. They don't care about that. So you can point all day long about how hypocritical she is. They don't care. They don't care. It's all about the ends for them. Whatever means is utilized, it is utilized. They could contradict themselves from what they did 30 minutes before, and it won't change a damn thing, because it's not about that. It's about in fact, what they will use is your own set of morals and ethics against you, because they're banking on you trying to care about consistency and hypocrisy and all that. They don't. They look at it like, we run the industry now, the entertainment industries. We get to say what's acceptable. We get to talk whatever narratives that it is, and all you should do is shut the fuck up and pay for it. That's what they feel, and this is why I keep saying, how about this? We defund these guys. Stop it. Stop clinging on to them. Stop even giving them leeway when they do the bare fucking minimum. Because you know what they will never do, and they showed you that with Gina Carano. What they will never do is come for your protection. In the event that, let's say, you are among them and you are a successful person, right? And you have people unfairly coming at you, they will never come to your defense. In fact, they will aid the people that are getting you out of there, much like they did with Gina Carano. This doesn't change until we start acting accordingly and do what they do. Not in the like Bush League fucking tactics. It's acknowledging that they're going to use Bush League tactics. So more than anything, especially with your capital, you act accordingly. That's more so what it is that I'm advocating, right? You should not feel required to give a company fucking money that has spit in your face multiple times. You are not required to give them money, even for giving you the bare minimum, when you know all they're going to do is flip it and tell you how much you fucking suck. They'll win an award off the money that you gave them and stand on an award podium and tell half the population they fucking hate you. You do not. This is what our sides, it's not just one, it's just non-leftists is all that it is, should be paying attention to and acting accordingly for. It's like you look at that, you see how they act. I'm all about reciprocity, baby. And that's really when I go try to jump, if I'm going to defend someone like that to the ends like that, I look at it like, would they do the same for me? Not me individually. Let's say someone that was close to them that they knew that was more along my line of thinking. And if the answer is no, you on your fucking own. Because I ain't going to get nothing out of it. It's that, the old saying with whatever fucking water animal, the frog or whatever, and the scorpion. You help that motherfucker across that little pond, and you still sting your bitch ass. It's for what? What do you get out of it? We got nothing out of giving these companies money and giving them the benefit of the doubt. What have you got? Nothing. They just win awards and say, hey, we don't like you, because they understand that they need your money, but you ain't got the gonads enough to withhold it from them. So what reason do they have to even change? Fuck these fucking guys. That's all I'm fucking saying. And fuck Grace Randolph. I almost call her Rudolph or some shit. Grace Randolph for just being a lying piece of shit on this. And despite having, and this is why I'm not going to give Grace, and I'm not doing this YouTube beef shit. I'm just saying you're a piece of shit for this. Specifically because you had the allotted time to actually research the information upon which you're talking about that. So you can't feign ignorance. Yet still, after this time has passed, you are still spreading objectively false information. That makes you a piece of shit. You just listened to a clip from my podcast, For Cannon's Sake, which is live throughout the week at 12 p.m. Central on youtube.com/YoungRipper59 and odyssey.com/@YoungRipper59. Be sure to check out my website, ericdjuly.com, so you can stay up to date with everything it is that I'm doing. You can also become a member and get access to a bunch of cool perks and exclusive content, which includes a social media hub where you can interact with myself and other members. It even has an app that you can get, which is now live in the Google and Apple stores.